Hello friends, welcome back. I am Vivekanandan. So very recently in our channel we did a video on the topic employee versus entrepreneur. So what are the advantages of being an employee and what are the advantages of being an entrepreneur? What are the disadvantages and what are the basic differences? So that was a very extensive video. So you can actually check that particular video in our channel. The link is given over here. But then the topic for today is employee versus intrapreneur. Yes, employee versus intrapreneur. So today's video we are going to discuss about what are the general differences between an employee and an intrapreneur. Then we will jump into the specific differences of an employee and intrapreneur, and most importantly why an employee never intends to become an intrapreneur, and various other things. We are going to discuss about those particular things in today's particular video. To start with, is entrepreneur and intrapreneur, are they both same? No. An entrepreneur is a person who runs the business, whereas an intrapreneur is a person who is an employee. So that is a basic difference. But now a basic question might pop in your mind, which is, if an intrapreneur is also an employee, then what is the difference between an employee and intrapreneur? Yeah, now let's discuss about it. To start with, how do you identify an intrapreneur in an organization? Identifying an intrapreneur is going to be very easy because intrapreneurs are basically star performers in the organization. Say it a manager or an accountant or a person doing a housekeeping work, there might be star performance in every other department. If not for them, other people will find it very difficult to complete the task. Those star performers are basically intrapreneurs, or much more. If an intrapreneur is putting her papers, for example, if an intrapreneur is sending their resignation to the boss, what happens is the boss gets palpitation. The boss will run towards this intrapreneur and ask, what is your problem basically? Do you need any other facilities? Do you need this? Do you need that? What are the problems? What are your concerns? Tell me now. I will just address it everything immediately, because an entrepreneur basically never wants to miss out on an intrapreneur. The other thing to be noted here is the moment the news of an intrapreneur putting up papers goes out, other companies will be competing to pull these intrapreneurs to their organization to give them work. So these would be the very general differences. You might also remember this news of Sundar Pichai, the Google CEO, Mr. Sundar Pichai. He was supposed to be elevated to the CEO post of Google. But then when the news actually broke out, what actually happened was we got other news like Twitter was also contacting Mr. Pichai to become the CEO of their company as well. So now the general differences aside, let's jump into the specific differences. What is the big difference between an intrapreneur and an employee? An employee basically works for the salary, whereas an intrapreneur also works for a salary, but their focus would be not only on the salary part, their focus would be to provide maximum value to the organization. How can I contribute to the organization? How can I build the company? So their focus, their motivation level is not going to be based only on the salary. It is all about the contribution and the value they are going to give towards the company. That is the first thing. So having said that they are work for salary, what happens is an employee is paid only on the time being spent there. For example, an employee, what happens is works from 9 to 5. He or she is paid only for that particular time, and the worst thing which would happen in many times is sometimes if the office is getting over at 5 o'clock, there might be certain people who will be getting ready from 4 o'clock. They might never be liking that particular job. So now coming to an intrapreneur, what happens is the intrapreneur also goes out of the office at 5 o'clock, but what happens is their focus will not be only on the time. Their focus will not be on completing the work exactly before time. They would have way ahead completed their work and jumped to another work, or if that existing work is not over by 5 o'clock, they will never mind putting some extra hours in the office to complete the work or take the work to home and work. So their focus will be completely there to complete the finish of the work. And one more important difference, people say the difference between an employee and intrapreneur is an employee's skill sets remains the same. After several years of working in the company, if they look back, the same skill sets they will be possessing while joining the company, there will be no improvement. Whereas what an intrapreneur does is constantly polishes their skills. Say for example, an accountant would be updated in the latest software, ERP or whatever it is, or sometimes what happens is they will also learning a lot from other departments, say marketing, sales and a lot of things. Here I just want to remind you about this particular news. You might have read it, which is the certain people who joined as delivery executives at Flipkart. When the company was growing at a rapid pace, all these delivery executives were promoted to the post of managers. And why was that? Their level of thinking was not just to remain as an employee. They were having this intrapreneurial thinking, which was they were contributing a lot to the company, and the company very duly recognized their efforts. And coming back, one more important difference would be an employee will be trying to complete their own work, whereas an intrapreneur, what they do is they will be trying to complete the total team's work. I mean, what they will try to motivate the entire team and take the team along with them, complete the task together and take the team along with them. And that is one reason they are being promoted as to the top management, like start from a team leader or a project manager or much more than that. So these would be some differences between an employee and an intrapreneur. But then a very big question arises here, and what is that? Why does an employee remain as an employee and not intend to become an intrapreneur? What are the reasons? If you go and ask an employee, they will give you some real genuine reasons. Those reasons would be like, see, whatever effort I'm going to put for the company is not going, the company will be paying me the same salary. The company is not going to recognize my efforts. The company is not going to incentivize me. The company is not going to promote me or give me some new designations and nothing. In other words, they will not be recognized is their genuine concern, and that concern is a very genuine concern. And what entrepreneurs need to do, so they really need to address these kind of issues. So properly remunerate them, recognize their efforts, and certain kind of an entrepreneurs, what happens is they are not only satisfied only after the salary rise, they also need to be individually appreciated, recognized in the company. Many HR departments have this problem with the entrepreneurs. And what is that problem? That is a very, very good problem to have, which is they will constantly be thinking about how to keep this intrapreneur motivated, how to give them some creative work, because the moment they don't get some creative, good, proper work, their motivation levels go down. This is with the case, this is with the intrapreneur I'm speaking about. So now, my point over here is very simple, which is, if you're going to remain as an employee in the organization, do not think too much about whether your efforts are going to be recognized and much more on those lines. Instead, think about working for our own individual satisfaction. We really need to be satisfied after putting the number of hours in the organization, and we really need to polish our skills, increase our capabilities, and give our best in terms of our work. And what happens is we automatically become intrapreneurs. And the moment you become an intrapreneur, the company recognizes you. They don't have any other option than to recognize you, reward you suitably. If that particular organization is not going to reward you, do not worry much. There will be a lot of avenues opening up for you where your efforts will be duly recognized and rewarded. So concluding words would be, being an employee or an intrapreneur is a person's individual choice. But at the same time, we also need to remember this, which is success and opportunities for success will be much more to an intrapreneur. Please share your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks for watching this video. Have a good day.